In the depths of the ocean, the Ancient One stirs. Cthulhu awakens, rising from its cyclopean tomb. Its tentacles writhe, its eyes glow with otherworldly power. The call of Cthulhu echoes across the storm. The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. After my granduncle, Professor Angel, died, I examined the papers he had left behind. Among them, I found a strange clay bas-relief, and notes unlike any of his scholarly work. Identified its maker as Henry Anthony Wilcox, a young sculptor of unusual genius. He had brought it to Professor Angel after a strange dream on the night of a violent earth tremor. He remembered vast cities of stone and a voice that was not a voice. Angel questioned Wilcox about dreams of dripping stone and two repeated sounds, Cthulhu and Laya. He questioned artists and poets across the world. Many had dreamed strange visions during those same nights. Then fever seized Wilcox, and he raved of a nameless thing, miles high, walking through the air. On April 2nd, Wilcox recovered. He remembered nothing and his strange dreams abruptly ended. But another record among Angel's papers reached much further into the past. In 1908, an Inspector Legrasse had shown scholars an idol seized in the Louisiana swamps. Women and children had vanished from the scattered settlements beyond New Orleans. Legrasse led 20 policemen into swamps so feared that their guides would go no farther. Then, beyond the trees, they heard drums and saw a fire no sane gathering would have kindled. The police charged. Some fled. Others fought with a fury beyond reason. 47 were taken alive. At the monolith's base, Legrasse found the idol. Most prisoners knew little, but one old sailor, called Castro, spoke with terrible assurance. He said the great old ones lay hidden beneath the sea, dead, yet dreaming. Their thoughts, he claimed, still entered the dreams of those minds sensitive enough to hear them. Recognized it. Professor Webb had seen a similar image in Greenland nearly 50 years earlier. Their right had preserved the same repellent figure and almost the same impossible refrain. In his house at Riley, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. The two accounts were separated by half a world. I confronted Wilcox expecting fraud. Instead, I found an honest artist still haunted by forms born entirely in dreams. In New Orleans, Legrasse showed me the original idol. Its likeness to Wilcox's sculpture could not be dismissed. For the first time, I wondered whether Professor Angel had died because he knew too much. By chance, beneath mineral specimens, I found an Australian newspaper bearing a horribly familiar image. It reported the armed yacht Alert found disabled and drifting, with only 2 men aboard. One was dead. The survivor, Gustav Johansson, clutched an idol almost identical to Legrasse's. March 22nd, the armed Alert ordered Captain Collins to turn back. He refused. Cannon fire crippled the Emma, whose crew boarded and overcame their attackers. 3 men were lost. Johansson led the 8 survivors onward, seeking what the yacht had guarded. Then a stone pillar rose where no land should have been. They had found Rilia, mud, weed, and masonry too vast for human hands. All 8 men landed, climbing angles that made sea, stone, and sky seem wrongly aligned. Rodriguez found an immense carved door, though no man could tell whether it stood upright or lay flat. Bryden pushed in vain, then Donovan carefully pressed each point along its monstrous edge. The balanced stone began to recede, uncovering a darkness that seemed almost solid. The stench rose first. Then a vast slopping sound came from the blackness below. The thing of the idols squeezed its gelatinous immensity through the doorway. A mountain walked. 2 men died of terror as Cthulhu awakened. Before anyone turned, Donovan, Guerrera, and Anstrom were swept up by the flabby claws. Parker slipped and vanished within an angle no sane geometry could explain. Only Johansson and Bryden reached the boat, rowing desperately for the Alert. Steam still lived in the boilers, and within moments the Alert was moving. Cthulhu slid into the sea and pursued with strokes that raised enormous waves. Bryden looked back. His reason broke into shrill laughter. Johansson reversed the wheel and drove the Alert straight at the pursuing horror. The bowsprit struck its pulpy head, bursting the yielding mass into blinding green cloud. Behind the yacht, the scattered substance began horribly to reassemble. For 9 days the Alert wandered on, until a storm found Johansson alone among the living. On April 2nd, the Australian freighter Vigilant discovered the battered yacht. They found Bryden dead and Johansson, white-haired, delirious, and unable to tell his story. The Alert reached Sydney on April 18th, bearing 1 survivor and an idol no scholar could name. Before the Vice-Admiralty court, Johansson could offer only a confused tale of storms and lost men. Back in Oslo, he wrote the truth in secret and locked it away. Suddenly by the docks, after 2 sailors passed close beside him. His hidden manuscript completed the pattern my granduncle had begun. Cthulhu still lives, and what has risen may sink, while what has sunk may rise.
This is the end. The final act closes. This is the end.